Megan Hicks of I Run Far, and we're here in Rotorua, New Zealand. It's a couple days before the 2017 Tarawera Ultramarathon. I'm with the USA's Camille Herron.
Hi. Hi, Megan.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We're in the middle of a barbecue right now.
Yeah.
Enjoying a little bit of this nature park here, the edge of New Zealand. I think you just fed a captive lion.
Yes.
We saw eels and trout and goats and alpacas and
there's a chameleon behind us.
a carved chameleon. Well, it's a couple days before Tarawera. It's the beginning of 2017. 2016 was a bit of a rough year for you, wasn't it?
Yeah. I definitely could not have expected it to go the way it did, but yeah, I had to sort out my professional life with my running life and personal life, and so I'm finally balanced a bit better going into 2017. So I feel like having gotten a golden ticket already for Western States, I feel like my year started off really positive, and so I'm just going to keep going with it and take it one race at a time and keep building to June. So
like in this sport, we're all learning, like we make mistakes and, we do things right, and I think probably some of your experiences will resonate with people who are watching. So like the last time I saw you, you had a pretty good day at the Lake Sonoma 50 mile. Can you talk a little bit about how the rest of the year went for you?
Yeah, I had a pretty good performance there, but I actually very badly injured myself. Going into the race, I had already torn my hamstring, and I just didn't know the severity of it, and had a bit of a rough race trying to limp my way to the finish with my torn hamstring, and then got it checked out and found out it was a really, really bad tear. I torn about 90% of the tendon. So it was like, it was a type of injury that, I thought my career was over just as it was beginning, and it was pretty traumatic actually, trying to come back from, having a really bad injury, and
what was that process like? Because you weren't away from running all of the year. You managed to fit in some efforts here and there.
Yeah, so I took some time off, and I had a professional opportunity I accepted a job at the University of Michigan, and so not knowing what my running future held, I thought, my profession, I just try to focus on my profession.
Yeah.
But I was away from my husband for a few months, so it was a bunch of struggles just trying to sort out like where my life was going, and then once I got back to running and started doing the trail running, I went to White River, and it was one of those turning points where I'm running up a mountain and I'm realizing like I really, really like this, and it was funny going into that race. Like I told them, before the race, I'm like I've only run up a mountain like a couple minutes, like in my life, like just a couple minutes, and then I had to go up the mountain like 10 miles up, and we had two climbs that we had to do, and I just remember getting to the top of Suntop Road, and then just firing down the hill, and it kind of like dawned on me that like, oh, I really, really like this. I think I'm gonna do okay, as a trail runner, and so it was pretty amazing. Like I got home from that race, and I was pretty emotional getting home from that race, and I had been living apart from my husband, and I just had a turning point where I was like, I think I'm meant to do this, and I ended up quitting my job, and and my husband ended up quitting his job too, and and then we came back to Oklahoma, and once we came back to Oklahoma, it was just a turning point for us that okay, we're meant to do this. Like we just got to go full force with my running, and so when I went into UROC. I'd gotten back to Oklahoma, got back in my environment, and I started feeling really, really good. And fortunately, my boss at my former job had offered me my job back, and but yeah, so we were able to like sort out my running with my professional life, and got to feeling a lot better after that. So yeah, things started like turning a leaf, and but yeah, then I tore one hamstring, and then I ended up tearing my other hamstring this fall.
Was that what kept you out of doing? Was it the World 100K?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like my training was going really well up to that point, and then I ended up tweaking my other hamstring, and so it was finally like, okay, I just got to start over again, going into 2017, just start fresh, and so I started running again at the end of November, and then had signed up for the Bandera 100K, thinking, I haven't run very much yet for this race, but I might as well just do it and just see what happens. Yeah. So I mean, it was a real blessing to be able to get that golden ticket, even though I didn't quite have the fitness yet for that race. And so we're just gonna like keep taking it a race at a time, and just keep building up to June for Western States.
So would you say that your Bandera race was like your longest training run in preparation for Tarawera?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I like 5 to 10 miles into the race, I was huffing and puffing and thinking, my gosh, I don't even know if I can go another 50 miles. And it was amazing because about 45 miles into the race, I started feeling good. And I thought, okay, I think I can make it to the finish. So I was very, very happy, just very blessed to get the golden ticket and to not have to stress anymore about trying to do that. So.
Well, let's talk a little bit about New Zealand. Suddenly, a month later after Bandera, here we are, in the middle of summer when it's winter at home. Yeah. What made you decide to put things into coming to New Zealand and doing this race?
Yeah, so Paul had tried to recruit me last year to come here, and everybody wanted me to make my domestic trail debut instead of going international. And so I had to wait. I was very fortunate that Paul was willing to be patient, and let me get some experience here the past year, and to be able to come here and finally have a little bit of experience and be at a good place, trying to build up to June. So and plus, I mean, it's beautiful here.
New Zealand.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So it's fun to go travel around the world and to see people that and to meet new people. I mean, we've met people all over the world since we got here, and so it's fun to talk about like where we're from. And I like racing internationally. There's just so much positive energy to it. So it's fun.
Cool. So let's talk for a few minutes about this weekend. You're very typically aggressive in your racing. Is that how we should be expecting to see you run on Saturday?
Well, yeah, that's really funny because I mean, as a marathoner, I've always been like a pretty even kill, even pacer, and even like road ultras, I just happen to be pretty darn fast. It's even though it comes across that way. When I ran UROC back in September, I had the mentality of, okay, I know what 100K effort feels like. It's about a heart rate of like about 160 for me.
Yeah.
And so I know what that effort feels like. So I just go into, a 50-mile 100K trail race knowing that effort. And so that's just what I concentrate on. So, yeah.
But in all fairness, for example, we've seen you race a couple times, and for example, Lake Sonoma, maybe 5 miles into the race, you were about 10th place overall in a pretty competitive men's field.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much expect myself to be amongst the men, and I mean that's coming from a road background. I mean, I had to realize that I'm having to race the men, and so I have that mentality going into the trials. But yeah, I mean, Lake Sonoma, I was just injured. I just wasn't able to sustain it, and I think that was the hardest part, was just knowing that I'm trying to limp for 30 miles, and it was just a totally different experience from once I got healthy at UROC and was finally able to flow like myself. And I think that when things come together for me as far as my health and my fitness, that I'm going to be able to sustain it quite a
Yeah.
bit better. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, well that's fair enough then.
Yeah.
New Zealand. You've been here a couple days.
Yeah.
Is this your first time here? Have you been before?
No, this is my first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
What have you seen? What have you done? What do you think so far?
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, coming from winter time in the U.S. and coming here and it's summertime, and they have a very strong sun, so I'm getting quite badly. I gotta
experiencing UV rays.
Yeah, I gotta definitely put on the sunscreen, and yeah, I gotta protect my skin. But yeah, I mean, we between having the mountain and the beaches, and like I'm most amazed with the trees. Like I really like how there's such a variety of trees around.
And what do you think about like all the different colors of green that are here?
Yeah,
There's so many green colors.
I know. Well, we went to Ireland back in November. And
yeah, same thing.
Yeah. So my husband's like, yeah, this looks a lot like Ireland. I'm like, no, it's a little bit more mountainous than Ireland.
And these tropical plants growing everywhere, a little different from Ireland.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. It's a bit more tropical. So yeah, it's I've never seen anything like this as far as within the U.S. So yeah, I mean, being a newbie trail runner, like I'm just like absorbing it. Like
Sure.
It's crazy, I mean, when you're on the road, you don't really have anything around. So here it's just like I'm just taking it all in, and so that's the coolest part for me, being a new trail runner, is just like having a change in environment and really being able to enjoy the experience of that. So
You've got so much in your face all the time as a trail runner compared to being on the road, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're brushing up against things, and yeah, there's just, it makes you really appreciate Mother Earth and the environment, because for me, coming from an urban environment to being out here, and it's quiet, that I really can enjoy and appreciate that. So
I think it's something that once in a while we start to take for granted, but
totally.
coming to a new environment totally like re-enlivens that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I like, because I work in research and I work with animals, and to be out here and to have just fed a lion, I'm just like really like, holy cow, like I feel like a 5-year-old again. So
Well, maybe
yeah.
you've always been a 5-year-old.
I have. Definitely.
Well, good luck to you on Saturday.
Thank you.
And we
Thank you.
look
I
forward
appreciate
to
it.
seeing you cross the forests of Tarawera.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.